As I have gone alone in there, and with my treasures bold, I can keep my secret where, and hint of riches new and old. Begin it where warm waters halt, and take it in the canyon down. Not far, but too far to walk, but in below the home of Brown.
It is the greatest adventure that I have ever worked on.
Here's the hunting squad.
I'm looking. Looks promising.
Check it out.
From there, it's no place for the meek. The end is ever drawing nigh.
There will be no paddle up your creek, just heavy loads and water high.
Forrest probably hid it right under a picnic table.
If you've been wise and found the blaze...
To us, this is a pretty good fit for a blaze. It just looks like this enormous fire.
Look quickly down, your quest to cease.
I don't think this was a creek where an 80-year-old man would go. We had a lot of trouble going up that creek.
The big question that always comes up is why didn't he call off the hunt when people started dying?
Over the years, this really did become a bit of an obsession.
But Terry Scant with Marvel gaze.
Just take the chest and go in peace.
So why is it that I must go and leave my trove for all to see?
The answer is I already know.
I've done it tired, and now I'm weak.
That poem just keeps looping through your head every night.
So hear me all and listen good. Your effort will be worth the cold.
Found it? Sadly not.
There's always tomorrow.
If you're brave and in the wood, I give you title to the gold.
Forrest was one of the most interesting people I've ever met. Maybe the most interesting. I don't know how it happened, but there's a huge age difference in us. He was conservative, I'm liberal. I mean, there's so many differences, and yet somehow we hit off a very unlikely friendship. I remember one day he said, "Doug, come on over. I got something in my vault I want to show you." He said, I have cancer. If my cancer gets the better of me, I've got a place where I'm going to take my life, and I'm going to leave behind a poem challenging the world. Whoever finds my grave can rob it and keep the treasure. And here, sitting on this table in his vault, was this bronze chest, and it was dazzling, just heaps of gemstones, gold nuggets and gold coins. I said, "How much is this worth?" And he said, "Well, slightly under $1 million." His cancer went into remission, but for a long time, he felt that the cancer was going to come back and kill him. And he waited and waited and waited, and at a certain point, he said, "I'm not getting any younger. Maybe I should just be around for a while to enjoy the treasure hunt." So I did it. It's out there. He published that book, The Thrill of the Chase, which has the poem in it. The idea of leaving something behind, a mystery, it's a kind of immortality, or at least a legacy. 200 or 300 centuries from now, people might still be reading the poem and exploring and going out there and trying to find the treasure. It's kind of a cool idea.
Good exercise. I want to die here. Not today. My God, it's just so gorgeous. God dang. In the 8 years I've been searching, I probably have done what I call 200 boots on the ground searches. I actually got laid off, so I just early retired. And I was so happy about it because that allowed me to become a full-time Forrest Fenn treasure hunter. This is my working copy of The Thrill of the Chase. Forrest said there's some hints in the book that will help you with the clues. And of course, we don't know specifically what they are. For me, it was never about making money. It was solving that damn poem, solving that dang poem. 147 pages of things that were not right. We all have family that they don't want to hear anything about it. They're so sick of hearing it. Us searchers, when we do get together, it's like, oh my God, we actually have someone that wants to hear what we have to say now. And if you're not a Forrest Fenn treasure hunter, I don't even want to talk to you. No, I'm kidding. Sort of.
Hello, how are you? Very good, thank you. Thank you. Oh, no, thank you, though. Have a good day. I've been searching for the Forrest Fenn treasure for just under a decade now. Did you want me to look at you or the road?
No, please look at the road.
Oh, okay, all right. 780 days of searching. Yeah. 780 days worth of places where the treasure was not there. So that sounds pretty unfortunate to me. These days, something's missing in society. So many folks work in an office, they've got the same job, doldrum, day after day. The treasure hunt was an escape, a true adventure.
Hopper season. It's my favorite time of year.
Unfortunately, there were a certain small percentage of people that had an unhealthy relationship with the treasure hunt. From folks kind of overextending themselves, bankruptcies, marriages ending.
Got some bear scat.
Uh-oh.
Several days old. And there were tragedies, too. People died looking for this. That's fresh.
Oh, is it bear poop?
Uh-huh.
Oh, geez.
Watch your step there.
This is my library dedicated just to the search. The very first time I went out looking for the treasure, I sent Forrest an email. Within moments, I got an email right back from Forrest. And Forrest said, "You're just the kind of guy that could find my treasure." And I thought, holy cow, I must be close. And of course, I wasn't in the right place. I wasn't even in the right state. Here's the thrill of the chase from the back of Forrest's book. It's on canvas, and it won't be hurt by the rain. In order to uncover the treasure, in order to figure out the solution to his poem, you had to know something about Forrest. You had to get into his mind a little bit. So the treasure hunt was unique because Forrest, the hider, the guy who did this, was still alive, and he was talking to people about it.
Forrest made this for me to wear when I go boots on the ground to keep me safe. So I always wear this. Now we don't even need bear spray. But if I get killed by a grizzly, you better record this. And I want it on YouTube. I met Forrest Fenn for the first time at his book signing, and then we had lunches together, or we'd meet at the bookstore.
Did you come up with it? Well, I wrote the book, sure.
We just became really, really good friends, and I met his family. I became friends with his daughters, and Shiloh, his grandson, and his dogs, and we just got real close. Okay, we're rolling.
What does red mean?
It's recording. I don't know why he liked me. Maybe because he liked my enthusiasm. One time he said, "Pull back your throttle, girl." This is nasty. Because I'm just going crazy, you know, I'm with all this excitement. I made it. And I give you the famous home of Brown. I actually did search all these trees along here and under the logs and everything. That's where we're going. Now I'm picking up my pace, I'm running. I just wanted to make sure that there's not like a running man or something carved into this. There were a lot of us, and I'm not talking just one or two or a dozen. I'm talking hundreds, if not thousands of us.
So what are you gonna do when you find the treasure?
Well, it's not enough to take a trip into space.
Where is the treasure? Where is the treasure?
And of course, everyone was telling him where they were searching. But he had such a poker face, or at least I never could tell what was going through his head.
Everything is a mystery in the Forrest Fenn story. He went from a 40-year-old, basically nobody, no family connections, to the swashbuckling, famous art dealer and artifact collector in Santa Fe. How did he make that jump, and how did he do it so quickly? Wasn't a loan from the bank, wasn't a rich uncle. So the whispers had always been that he did it through the things he found in the ground and what he was able to get for them. Once upon a time, I did a big, long, fat story. I might even call it an investigation of a man named Forrest Fenn.
This This is just really another storage space where I keep smaller things.
In this little vault, he showed me what he said was Sitting Bull's peace pipe, a jade mask from thousands of years ago. He had a white man's scalp. His house, whole entire walls are covered with thousands of years of human history from multiple continents. It is like a museum, but with no backstory, because a lot of the backstory, I suspect, is a crime. When you asked him about disturbing graves, he wouldn't say, "Oh, that's ridiculous, I never." He would say, "Well, have I discovered graves?" The key word is discovered.
The penalty for digging up graves is very severe. Now, Forrest did not dig up any graves.
Eventually, I asked him directly. He said, "My lawyer told me I can't talk about that because I could lose." I was like, okay. I mean, that is as close to an admission of guilt as I've ever had in my career interviewing people who may or may not be guilty.
Lowbridge. I think there's so much focus on understanding Forrest because that was the key, was this journey of empathy and understanding where Forrest wanted to die.
Okay, we're rolling, right?
I spent time creating software that would analyze interviews of Forrest over the years, looking for changes in intonation that might reflect Forrest being nervous or basically giving away something that he didn't mean to give away.
You can find a treasure with what I've given you.
But you have to be boots on the ground to really get the full context and understanding of the area. What I'd be looking for is that line in the poem where he says, "If you've been wise and found the blaze." I felt that was the home stretch. You're not actually looking for this treasure chest. You're looking for a blaze that will lead you to it because the chest is so small that it's so easy to walk right over the top of it.
What is a blaze? We don't know.
It could be a bark on a tree.
No, I think it's just a tree.
You know, maybe a big quartz vein in a rock. You really couldn't rule anything out.
I don't see anything. So, moving along.
It's a vast territory. It's the equivalent of a needle in a football field, and I never expected to find it. In fact, I never expected anyone to find it in my lifetime.
The email from Forrest that the treasure had been found.
What?
The very first thing I did was email Forrest and say, "Is this email true? Is this really from you?" And he said, "Yes, it is."
For years, you're training for some sort of esoteric Olympic sport. And you're on your way to the Olympics, and then someone says, "Oh, actually, they're canceled, and by the way, we're not going to do that sport anymore." It's crushing. Yeah.
It was just completely out of the cold, out of the blue.
It's almost like, oh my God, my life just ended.
Seeing Forrest after the treasure was found, he was sort of crestfallen. He was disappointed.
The ending of the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt is the equivalent of a death, of different things for different people, whether it was hopes, dreams, adventure, so many things that were just gone in an instant.
What came after that was a tragedy. We heard via the grapevine ambulances showed up at Forrest's house and that it's possible someone had died. Forrest appeared to be in very good health. I mean, we knew he was slowing down. He stopped saying he could go out and get that treasure today if he wanted to, but we didn't think he was near death.
He lived a very full life. He died at 90, but it seems like the passing of an era. And it was such an unusual friendship.
Finding out that he had died, kind of what that was like for you.
No, won't talk about it. No. I lost my best friend.
All quiet. That's crazy. Shortly after the treasure was found, it was clear that the finder wished to remain anonymous. The community had this growing angst because with, a vacuum of information, people assume the worst. Conspiracies started to form and all sorts of stuff, and then there were lots of lawsuits. For better or for worse, one of the lawsuits actually forced the hand of the finder. Ultimately, we learned about who found this treasure. It was Jack Stuef.
He was just getting into the treasure hunt in 2018, so he didn't have that length of time invested. We had such an emotional and a sentimental connection to Forrest and the chase and the community, and I think that is one of the things that Jack had none of.
I corresponded a little bit with Jack. It became clear to me that he wasn't going to reveal anything, and that was incredibly frustrating. We were never told the location where it was found, and we were never told what the solution was. I call him Jack the Jerk. It's an affectionate name. I don't mean it negatively.
I would never do that to other searchers, what he did to us. I was never one to quit. Damn it, Jack. Even if the treasure isn't there, I will continue to search for the place where it was found. Let me look around here for a minute. Hopefully someday we can get closure. Let me look over here now.
Just because the chest isn't sitting there doesn't mean it can't be solved. The hunt shifted at that point. It was no longer around finding this bronze chest in the wilderness. It was about finding where it was, which is actually a harder puzzle.
I think it's great fun that people are still looking for the place where Forrest's chest was hidden. But how are you ever going to know if the place you decide is the place where the chest must have been, because the chest isn't there anymore?
So we know that Jack fetched the treasure chest. He moved it out into an more accessible location in order to take the photo, and there are enough unique attributes in the photograph that collectively make up a fingerprint.
This twig, look how unique that is. If we can find that twig, we confirm we got the spot.
So definitely looking for this type of weathered twigs and logs.
I don't know how they'll ever know.
There was like a twig.
I mean, okay, this is how I feel about it. That's just ridiculous. That's,
We're pathetic, sort of. The other picture we are using with the lid closed, but you see there's a log there and a log there.
So basically any area where we find these are intersecting like this, fairly close to a right angle, those are all fair game to inspect. All these logs all have to be searched. In the lower right side of the photo, there is a leaf. That's probably the best filter that we have right now in terms of narrowing the area, because I would challenge anyone to count more than a dozen aspens in Madison Canyon. They're hard to come by. They really are. But once you found the correct location, where the photo was taken. Still, the question remains, how do you know this is the spot where the treasure was hidden? And that's where science and technology come into play. Bronze, over time, there are trace levels that are left in the soil. And so by doing soil analysis through mass spectrometry, we could prove that at some point in the past, there was bronze present at this location. And then I had read an article. They had trained dogs to sniff certain types of ore. I thought, well, you know what? If they can do it, I could do it. I started to introduce bronze nuggets, and I'd hide them around the yard. And Tucker, the dog, he'd go and he'd sniff them out. And it was very exciting. It was a game. He was very good at it. All of those things combined would definitively prove that this was the location where it was hidden. Just a dude out looking for something that isn't there anymore.
Yesterday, Justin and I were all looking at this picture or the other one, and we're like walking around going like this. And then when we come to a spot like this, I mean, it's like, don't move, stop. Don't step on any twigs. Look how many places it could be. All I know is I'm not giving up yet. It's too early in the season. I was so close to Forrest that I want to know what his special place was, and I want to be able to go there, and I want to sit there, and I want to talk to him there. So that would be the ending, to know that.
I know that Cynthia was deeply affected by Forrest's death. I suspect that some of this continuing quest for her is working out her grief.
Okay, Forrest, speak to me. Are we in the right area? I see bison, and they don't even care that we're here.
She knows she's being in places that Forrest had been in, that Forrest fished, that Forrest traveled.
This is, what do you think, elk? Someone's gonna see this and they're gonna think it's the fake blaze.
Forrest was special and he could draw people in. I know he drew me in, and I know he drew Cynthia in too.
Okay, so Jack crosses the fire hole. He knows he's going to that forest of trees, and he has his holy cow or holy elk moment. Go.
Nice job.
Okay. Justin, I can't help myself but look for the logs with the right dirt in the corner.
Good, you're well trained.
We're going to use a trail when we get to the exact latitude of 44 degrees, whatever.
The geographic coordinates solution was something that had been put forth by a member of the search community. Using homophones in the poem, you can actually derive geographic coordinates. It's like two, that could be TO, TOO, or TWO. And those numbers lead to a very exact spot.
Oh my God, look at this shrine. Oh, holy hell. I have a replica lid of the actual Fenn treasure chest. And so I couldn't wait to bring this and actually see, did it fit? And it does. Guys, this is it. This is it.
Okay.
Oh my God. Here's the twig. That's perfect. Oh, look, and it has the eye on the end.
All right, I have a good picture.
We thought we actually had the spot, and it was a tremendous relief to me. I felt like, oh my God, I have closure, until Jack said the GPS solution is wrong.
It's not here. I can probably count on one hand the number of times where I've gone to a location and actually had real confidence that this might be it. And one of those times was when my brother was here, and it was a bonding experience for both of us. My brother didn't get a lot of free time. It was a lot of work. My brother was never designed to be in an office. You know, I think he had a little trouble finding his way, and ultimately he took his own life. And one of the last messages that he left for me was about the hunt, the treasure. And you know, it's just something that I vowed to keep doing, keep searching, and it's kind of a commitment that I made. If I were to find and definitively prove the location where the chest was hidden, it's tough to say how I'd even react to that. It's like you spend a decade looking for something, you kind of stop thinking about how you'd react if you actually found it.
Let me just look here for a minute.
Do you think Cynthia's ever going to give up the search?
I don't want to say things that are going to make her stop. And if I said what I think, she'd hate me for it.
I don't know.
So I'm going to say this instead. She's never going to give up until she finds it.
I'm still looking at these logs and looking at the dirt. We need dry dirt. Isn't it peaceful, though, here? Just with the breeze blowing and the birds chirping? How can you not love this?